The story was sent by Mahin from Pakistan. He was an SSC candidate in 2022. He mentioned that the incident happened to him and some friends in the mango garden. He uses pseudonyms Atiq, Rayan, and Shahid for his friends, as their names were not permitted for release. The events took place on Friday, February 28, 2024. They had long planned a bike trip to the mango garden and also intended to have a somewhat haunted experience. They left for the garden around 3 p.m. and arrived around 5 p.m. Due to the rainy season, both the entrance road and most of the paths inside the garden were in poor condition. The area before the garden had pineapple gardens on both sides, and the tall mango trees looked very appealing from there. They stopped briefly to enjoy the scenery before entering. As they went deeper into the garden, evening began to set in. They saw other people leaving and received advice not to go inside at that hour. However, they did not pay much attention to these warnings. As they slowly moved forward, talking, they suddenly saw a man with a cow cart approaching them. Upon seeing them, the man said, "Hey, son, this much courage at night is not good. Go back now while there is still time." Mahin asked him why, but the man just started leaving without explaining. A little further on, Mahin began thinking about the cow cart driver's words. He asked Shahid, who was behind him, to check if the cart was still there. Shahid looked back and said no one was there. Mahin immediately braked and looked back himself, confirming that there was indeed no one. He noted that a cow cart could not possibly have traveled so quickly to disappear from sight in just 2 or 3 minutes. From their location, it would have taken 1 or 2 kilometers to exit the garden, and there were no side paths, only dense mango trees. This incident made everyone a little anxious, especially Rayan and a very frightened Atiq. They continued on for about 30 to 40 minutes as the sun began to set. Mahin described the entire mango garden as feeling like a haunted realm with the tall trees and lack of visibility. Something he felt could only be truly understood by someone being there. Their goal was to reach a monkey garden area inside. As they proceeded on the bad road, Rayan's bike fell in a muddy, low area, and they all helped him up. Mahin stated, but the real incident happened here. After lifting Rayan, they tried to start their bikes. Rayan's bike started fine, but Mahin's bike would not start at all. He tried many times, even attempting to push start it in first gear, but it wouldn't work. Atiq, seeing this, exclaimed, "I told you not to come before. Let's go back, even if you didn't listen to us. Don't you remember what the cow guy said?" At this point, they began to grasp what might be happening. Darkness had now fully descended. Mahin started walking, pushing his bike, with Shahid and Atiq a little behind him. Suddenly, someone whispered right next to his ear, Didn't I tell you so much courage is not good? Immediately after, he felt a rush of hot air pass by. He quickly asked Atik and Shahid if they felt it. Shahid confirmed he had, while Atik remained silent, very frightened. They quickly walked faster. A little further on, Atik pointed and asked, "What is that on the tree?" before losing consciousness. Mahin and Shahid looked up and saw a flame, like the fire of a hurricane lamp, burning on top of a tall mango tree. They looked at each other wordlessly. Shahid started calling for Rayan. Thankfully, Atik regained consciousness. Mahin noted that Shahid was a madrasa student and asked him and Rayan to recite prayers. Shahid began reciting Ayatul Kursi loudly, while Rayan drove slowly and gave the azan loudly. Within 10 to 15 minutes, they were almost out of the garden. Mahin felt he couldn't continue and needed rest. Atik offered to take the bike, saying it was not possible to stand there. Moments later, they were out of the garden, escaping the nightmare of a cursed night. They looked back and heard a terrifying scream and laughter, followed by an angry voice saying, "Today you were saved by your mother's prayers." They said nothing more. Taking God's name, Mahin told everyone to start their bikes. When he pressed the self-start button, saying Bismillah, his bike started as if there had been no issue at all. Without further words, they sped away. Rayan's bike was faster, and they reached the city railway station and called Mahin, who was just entering. Mahin started driving faster due to their experience. However, what was destined to happen would happen. Driving through the dark city railway station, Mahin asked Shahid if he was scared, to which Shahid replied, "No." As Mahin asked this and looked ahead, he saw a white-clothed figure standing by the side of the road with a familiar shape. Mahin screamed Shahid's name loudly. He then told himself he had to keep driving properly. Shahid began reciting Ayatul Kursi and Surah Ikhlas. Mahin slowed down slightly and asked Shahid what to do. Shahid advised him not to look and increase speed. As they passed the figure, the white shape looked at Mahin once. As far as he could discern, there was nothing where the face should be. After exiting the city railway station, Mahin asked Shahid if he had looked back. Shahid said yes, and there was nothing there. Mahin was stunned. They met up with Rayan and Atik and told them about the city railway station incident. Rayan and Atik were shocked and slightly angry for not being told sooner, asking if more was going to happen after all they had experienced. They learned later that Atik had been ill and vomiting upon returning home, though he was now okay. They concluded that taking such a risky decision to go through the mango garden and city railway station was foolish, as someone could have been seriously harmed. The next day, they took Atik to a local muazzin for spiritual help. The muazzin heard the full story and told them they were very lucky to have returned safely due to God's grace. He explained that the cow cart driver was likely a good jinn who was present there. and they should have heeded his warning and left immediately. He said that what they saw and heard in the garden were jinn who wanted to harm them, and if they had stayed longer, something worse might have occurred. The figure they encountered in the city railway station was probably a bad jinn, and stopping there would have led to trouble. He reiterated that going through the city railway station at night is very dangerous. He credited God for protecting them and advised them to try to pray regularly and thank God.